my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers popping in this bitch, popping in this bitch. Me and my troopers.
For Invincible. Hi, my name is Mr. J3T, aka Big Sexy, aka the Kentucky Cannon, aka the World Class Badass, aka Chocolate Thunder with a Caramel Swirl, aka Black Lightning with a peanut butter filling, aka the Man of the Century, aka Big Daddy Long, aka the Houdini of Sexy, aka the Shaman of Sexy, aka your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. Oh, you all know the rest, but as my girl Mariah Carey just said, it's time. It is time. It is time for Invincible. Invincible Season 2. Oh my god. Oh my god. Huh. Yes, Invincible Season 2. So, it's here. It's here. So, So if you've been rocking with me for a minute now, you'll know that you could say I like Invincible. You could say I like Invincible just a tad bit, So y'all know that I love Invincible. I still have the compendiums over there. Y'all can't see it, but the compendiums, I have all 3 compendiums. I started this channel. My first video ever on this channel, I was talking about Invincible. My second video was talking about Invincible, and I'm just a big fan of Invincible. It's my favorite comic of all time. And when the show came out, I believe it came out back in 2020, I believe. It's either 2020 or 2021. Probably 2021. But when it came out, when it dropped, I loved it. I thought it was a great adaptation. I thought that they stuck to the comics pretty well. Sure, they changed a few things, but those things weren't major. But for the most part, I loved that first season of Invincible. And I've been waiting for them to drop the second season. And it's here. I watched it the other day. And I love it. So, if you don't know what Invincible is about, it's about a boy named Mark Grayson, whose dad, this guy, Omni-Man, who he is the world's superhero, right? So one day Mark gets powers and he becomes invincible. So then goes on to do superhero stuff, but one day it's revealed that his dad, Omni-Man, remember this guy, Omni-Man, he's a part of the Viltrum Empire. Now, the way he said it is that the Viltrum Empire were a peaceful race that were going out and helping planets, but in reality, they were going out and conquering planets. And Omni-Man, again, this guy, wanted his son, Invincible, / Mark Grayson, to help him conquer Earth. Mark obviously said no. They have a bit of a scrap. Omni-Man almost kills him, but then he stops because he's like, I can't do it, and he flies off into space. Where he goes, I'm not going to say where he goes. I know where he goes, obviously, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil any of you, but I know where he's at. I know where he goes. Wow, this must be how manga readers feel whenever a new anime comes out. This must be how manga readers feel. I have the power. I have the power in my hands. So, yeah. So, he goes off somewhere into space, and Mark is pretty much left to pick up the pieces. And that's where we continue on from last season. Now, what I like about this, one of the things that I like about this episode, I want to get this off the bat. I love that they brought back the title cards, and I love how they're doing the title cards now, because if you don't know, whenever a character is about to say Invincible, it would just cut to a title card of Invincible, but each time we see it cuts to Invincible, more blood would splatter onto Invincible. So with this episode, they brought the title cards back, but instead of blood, it's cracks. So I love that they brought them back, and I love that they're doing a different spin on the title cards, so I love that. The animation is obviously, like, great. Nothing's changed with the animation. In fact, I think it got better a bit. The animation is still great. The characters still look like they got ripped straight out of the comics. Like, I love the animation. I loved the fight scenes in this. The fight scenes are as brutal as ever. There's a scene where Mark, he's fighting a bunch of different variants of variants. He's fighting a bunch of different versions of the Mauler twins. More on that later. And he's just getting jumped. He's getting jumped. He's getting his ass beat, and it's bloody. He's bruised, and like the fight scenes are still as brutal as ever. And it's great to see that Mark's still getting his ass kicked. Yeah. He gets stronger as the series goes on, but we're not at that point yet. Yeah, we're still at the point where Mark's still getting his ass kicked. So, yeah, we're still there. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. But the fights are still as brutal as ever. It's still very much brutal. And, yeah, the animation is great. So they start off this episode with showing us an alternate timeline where Mark actually does join up with Omni-Man, and they conquer the Earth, right? And in this reality, there's a man named Angstrom Levy, and Angstrom gets sucked through a portal into the main Invincible universe, and he meets up with a whole bunch of other Angstrom Levys, because his plan is to basically take resources from different universes to help his universe and help them all. He's basically trying to make his version of a utopia, basically, and as you can expect, things go tits up. And he ends up being disfigured, and he swears revenge on Invincible. And I like how they did it. I like that we got introduced to Angstrom Levy, and since we got introduced to Angstrom Levy, I don't know if we are getting it this season, but since they brought in Angstrom Levy, I think there's a possibility that we're gonna get the Invincible War. So, Invincible War, again, for those of you that don't know, the Invincible War in the comics is when Angstrom Levy brought a whole bunch of different evil variations of Mark Grayson, aka Invincible, and he brought them to the main Invincible universe, and they basically wreaked havoc and chaos. So I think we're gonna get it this season. I don't know if we are, but I think we're gonna get it. So, but if we do get it, I'm very excited to see it, and I'm hoping that they flesh it out more, because in the comics, Robert Kirkman, he kind of rushed it a bit. I wish he would have dragged it out longer in the comics. So I hope in the show, if we do get the Invincible War this season, I hope like they expand upon it and they drag it out more and longer. So that's my hope. So I like what they're doing with Extreme Levy, and I'm hyped to see the Invincible War potentially animated this season. So, but like I said a few minutes ago, this is about Mark. This episode was about Mark Grayson basically picking up the pieces of what happened. It's basically him and his mother just trying to deal with it, trying to go on with their lives, and it's, as expected, pretty hard. Like, Mark, he's not all the way there in the head, like, you know, because obviously his dad almost beat him to death, so he's obviously not there. So we see him trying to deal with it. He blames himself for all the death that happened in their fight. Everybody's trying to reassure them, look, you did good. You pretty much saved the planet. But he's like, no. I killed them. It's my fault. It's my fault. And we see him dealing with that and sort of just the PTSD and trauma of it all. We see his mother trying to deal with it, and it's very sad with his mom specifically, because she gets visited by one of the Guardians of the Globe's wives, Olga, and she pretty much breaks down saying that, like, Nolan killed so many people. He almost killed Mark. He called me a pet. 21 years, and I'm just a pet to him. So it was very sad to see. We're also getting the her alcoholism arc in the comics, because in the comics she goes through a bit with alcohol, so it looks like we're getting that particular story arc adapted into the show. And we just see them trying to heal, trying to move on, and expectantly it's what did I just say? Expectedly, I think that's the right phrase. Expectantly, it's understandably, that's a better word. Understandably, it's hard. So I'm pretty sure the rest of the season we're going to flesh out, like, just him them trying to move on, and also Mark trying to gain the trust from the rest of the superheroes, because remember, during the fight, it got recorded, so everybody now knows that Invincible is Omni-Man's son. So we see the Immortal, more on the Immortal later, but Immortal, he has a chat with Mark near the end, basically saying that, like, he doesn't trust him and he'll be keeping an eye on him. Cecil, when Mark is talking to Cecil about wanting to get put back in the game, take me off the bench, coach. Cecil's basically like, no. And Mark's like, you can't stop me from being a hero. I don't need your permission. And Cecil's like, yeah, you want to know who else told me that? And Mark has a little, like, I'm not like my dad. I'm not like him. So we're going to see him try to, gain trust from the rest of the heroes. Speaking of the rest of the superheroes, we see the new Guardians of the Globe. They're not doing too hot. Robot, because last season Robot got a human body, and we see him basically getting scared in battle. Like, we see him feeling emotions, feeling stuff like fear, and he's dealing with that. But he has Monster Girl there telling him, look, that's just being human. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it in battle. And so that leads to Immortal becoming the new leader of the Guardians of the Globe. We also get introduced to Bulletproof in this episode. we didn't get Bulletproof last season, but we got him here, and he's looking pretty cool. So there's a particular arc with him in the comics that I want to see. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a particular arc with him. For those of you that read the comics, y'all know what I'm talking about, that I'm looking forward to seeing animated. So, like I said, this is how manga readers feel whenever a new anime comes out. I got the power in my hands. I have the power of God in my hands. So, I can't wait to see that animated. Really, I just can't wait to see the rest of this show animated, because Invincible is my favorite comic of all time, and I just can't wait to see it animated. Now, so let's talk about Amber. So Amber's back, obviously, and Amber wasn't really. Sorry, there's a gnat here. Sorry, I got distracted. But so, get back on track, DeMarcus. Get back on track, Amber. So, Amber. Let's just say she was divisive last season. So to see her back again, I wonder how they're going to handle her this time. I wonder if they're just going to stay the course with her or make her at least a little bit likable. Because, not gonna lie, I didn't really like her last season. Like, sure, I was neutral towards her for a while, but when it's revealed that, like, she knew Mark was invincible and the way she handled it, like, that's when I, like, really started to not like her. So I wonder how they're going to handle her this season and if they're going to change her up a bit. But, yeah, I still don't really like her that much. I still prefer comic book Amber over show Amber. That's just me. I mean, we're not going to see her for long anyway, though, so yeah, we're just not. So I'm not really stressing it, but and if you want to know what I mean by that, you're just going to have to either read the comic or watch the show and find out. The power of God in my hands. So, so overall, the season is getting off to a great start. I like how where everything is going so far. I can't wait to see particular moments and fights from the comic animated into the show. I wonder how accurate they're going to have the show be. I wonder, because I know that from adaptations there's usually going to be some changes. So I wonder just how much stuff they're going to change from the comic to the show, because going off of the first season, they didn't change much, and the stuff that they did change, it didn't really impact the show that much. So I hope they continue that trend with, yeah, they'll make small changes, but not big enough changes to where it ruins it. So I hope they continue with that. I can't wait to see Alan the Alien again. Alan the Alien is one of my favorite characters in the comic, so I can't wait to see him again, and the whole, that plot point, you know, again, I'm not going to say anything, power of God, but, I can't wait to see that plot develop, and really, I just can't wait to watch the rest of the season. You know, I am excited. Invincible's back, baby. So for now, actually, you know what? Screw it. 2 thumbs up. J13 stamp of approval. I'm doing it. I'm saying it right now. So if you got Amazon Prime, watch Invincible. Just go watch it or go read it. Go read it. You won't regret it. Just go. Go. What are you still doing here? Go read it. But all in all, I'm excited to see. I'm excited for the future of Invincible. And I'm just so excited. Invincible's back. Oh, I've been waiting. Invincible's back. But that's about it. Just wanted to talk about Invincible for a little while. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. But if you really, really, really like me, consider subscribing and ring that bell so you always know whenever I upload, because it is free. It is free. Don't be a dum-dum. Subscribe today. Deuces.